Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a closer look at the newly released preview for the 4th edition Salamander army. There are changes. Some are subtle and some not so subtle. From unit profiles to army-wide mechanics, this update reshapes how the Salamanders wage war and how their enemies burn. To recap, I am releasing such videos so as to translate audio narration into visuals for people like me who just can't process how things look like. We're looking at the 4th edition Salamander Army preview, as discussed in the podcast from Tales from the Warrior Hall. Links in the description below if you'd like to use this video as a visual guide for their podcast. Mantic Universe Podcast also did one for the Salamander Army, so if you'd like more discussion, head over to theirs too. About the army, I believe Mantic has confirmed that the entire Salamander range will be fully available as STLs in the Mantic Vault to be printed, and that includes units that don't have a model yet. So if you have a 3D printer at home and want to manage your own army production, head over to the Mantic Vault for the huge variety of models for a subscription, which I think is really valuable. Now for the anxious, I have to break the news to you and announce that they kept most of the units in 4th edition. Let's start off with command orders. They have a total of 4. The first is Will of the Ancients, which pops off on rolls of 4+. It gives a unit a +1 speed increase, but prevents you from declaring a charge. Very simple order, basically useful if you need that extra speed to score positions, get into positions, or to shoot. The second is Cleansing Flame, also on a 4+. It targets one of your unit with the Flame-bound trait. That unit gains Fireball N+2, where N is the number of successful rolls. Fireball in the next edition does Blast D3, so it could deal a lot of damage to chaff in finishing off units. Though I am not sure if it stacks with a unit that already has Fireball, the third order is Shield of something. There's no way I could spell what they pronounced. This order has an additional requirement that requires you to have 2 successful rolls of 4+. If successful, it gives a unit +1 defense until the start of the next turn. Very strong in my opinion, especially when you want to hold objective area and survive. The last order is Rekindle on 3+. It gives target flame-bound unit Life Leech N, where N is the number of successful rolls. This would prove somewhat useful as later on you will see many sources of heal are no longer around. The Salamanders also have a unique spell called Smolder 3. It costs 20 points to take, has 18-inch range. If any hits are scored, you place a Smolder marker on an enemy unit for each success instead of damage. When that unit starts its turn engaged or charges, they get to remove a marker. At the end of the turn, there are still any Smolder markers on the unit, it suffers D6 damage with no nerve test needed. Is it strong? To a certain extent, yes. Casting this forces your enemy to go into combat or just suffer damage directly by passing their defense value. I think this might go well against spellcasters. Let's move to the core units now. First up, we have the Ghekkotah Warriors. They come as troops, regiment, or horde, but troops would be considered as auxiliary instead. They are really just basic bodies, meant to throw at the enemies with their cheap points, nothing too special. Salamander primes are your main warriors in the army, coming in with melee 4, defense 5 with crushing strength 1. Taking horde bumps their attack into a respectable 25 with nerve 24. They no longer have the option to take Effigy of Fire, nor the option to drop defense for an additional crushing strength. The podcast also didn't mention whether their troops are considered auxiliary, but I would assume so. Salamander Unblooded are your Berserker type of warriors, having defense drop to 4 but bumping its attack up to 12, 15, and 30. Unfortunately, the podcast didn't mention about the nerve value except for its horde at 23 points. As Berserker kind, they have Thunderous Charge 1 and Wild Charge D3. For Kaisenor Lancers, they're your typical cavalry at speed 8, melee 4, defense 5, but has an increased attacks of 10 and 20. They come with Crushing Strength 1 and Thunderous Charge 1. Your last core choice is surprisingly the Ember Sprites. They are now large infantry base but have height 1. They only come as troops for 75 points and likely taken as shooty chaff with their speed 6, shoot 5, attack 7 at 12 inches. Moving on to the specialist choices, we have the Ceremonial Guard that comes as either troop, regiment, or horde. Though they have an average melee of 4, they boast defense 5 and high attack values, especially for horde at 30. And comes with Crushing Strength 1. Making them more grindy and tanky, they have the Headstrong and Phalanx special rules. Next to them, a more elite choice are the Ancients. They move slower at speed 4 but boast melee 3 and defense 6, Crushing Strength 1, Fearless and Rallying. Note that they no longer can take Effigy of Fire and does not have Inspiring anymore. Next up with have the ever-popular Corsairs. They only come as troop or regiment, but comes with Shoot 5 at 18 inches with Piercing 1. For those lamenting that they cannot be spammed anymore being at the specialist choice, I'm pleased to announce to you that they have a character mentioned later on that makes them core. Cheers to you, swashbuckling fans. Next are the Ghekkotah hunters. They are your evasive little lizards that shoots and run. They carry blowpipes that are vicious and can exchange them to bows that also have vicious. They even having an ability to represent that, called Feint. It allows you to withdraw and turn around to face the enemy. I am not sure what leadership test meant here, though. Your first big boys are the Tyrants. Their lackluster melee 4 and defense 4 is compensated with high attacks of 15 and 30, along with crushing strength 2, fearless and wild charge D3. Fire elementals are still around, but they unfortunately lost Pathfinder, though their stats remain at melee 3 and defense 5. We now come to the support choices. Your first flying unit are the Scorchwings. They are your shooting kiting units that has shoot 5 at 18 inches. They can also deal damage in combat with their melee 3, thunderous charge 1, and nimble is lost, but do gain feint. That allows you to withdraw and face the enemy. Less mobile are your Rhinosaur Cavalry, moving at speed 7. They do have high nerve, punchy damage, especially on a charge with their brutal 1, crushing strength 1, and thunderous charge 2. Charting into monster territory, we first have the Greater Fire Elemental at 225 points. It has the combatant stats of melee 3, defense 5, and 10 attacks, along with crushing strength 3, vicious, and strider. It also has Fireball 4, allowing it to continuously pump out damage when not in combat. Note that it no longer has rally. The next monster is the Lekelidon at 105 points. It has height 3 and a shooting profile of 18 inches piercing 1. Personally, I feel that it's very cheap for what it does, annoying the enemy and baiting it into combat. The Komodon is a monster at 140 points. I guess its main use is for shooting though. If forced into combat, it's able to deal blast D3 damage with crushing strength. 1 for shooting, it has a range of 36 inches, deals blast D3 plus 1, and have the piercing 1 and indirect rule. For the first Titan base unit, we have the Ghekkotah Slasher coming in at 200 points. It has combatant stats of melee 3, defense 5, 10 attacks with crushing strength 1 and strider. It also has a range profile of shoot 5 at 36 inches, blast D3 with 2 attacks and piercing 1. That range profile can be switched at 15 points for 12-inch range, 12 attacks. The last support choice is your classic Phoenix. It has gone up in points, and I am sad to announce that there is no longer an ancient upgrade, no more heal spell, and no more strider. Honestly, running these at 180 points to just shoot at 18-inch without piercing is kind of expensive. Champions! Your first champion choice is the Mage Priest, at a very expensive 95 points, but comes with elite non-arcane library spells if you are nearby a friendly flamebound unit. Has the option to take a mount for 20 points. For his spells option, Fireball 5 for 30 points, Banechant 3 at 30 points, Heal 3 at 15 points, and Surge 8 at 30 points. Next, Heralds at 95 points. He is your standard bearer in 3rd edition who lost the fancy aura ability. Main use now is just for very inspiring. Not sure if he will be popular at that point. For the army's assassin-type champion, we have the Ghekkotah Clutch Warriors for 145 points. He has a decent combat stats of melee 3 with 4 attacks, and shooting profile of 18 inches. He comes with inspiring for Ghekkotah traits only, Pathfinder, Scout, Stealthy, and Vicious. He also allows you to upgrade a Ghekkotah Warrior to Legion, gaining 5 attacks and nerve 27 for 30 points. The Ghekkotah now takes to the skies with a 1 on a Scorchwing. He is a large cavalry hero at 165 points, flies 10, provides inspiring, and has a decent combat stats of melee 3, Pathfinder, Thunderous Charge 1, and Vicious. He can also shoot with 4 attacks at 18-inch. Artakl is a unique named Hero Infantry that's an upgrade to the Clutch Warden mentioned earlier, coming with additional Duelist 2, Slayer 3, and has Piercing 1 for his blowpipe. He also allows regiments of Ghekkotah hunters to become cored. I have no idea how to spell this hero, so I am calling him Zayak Ayu. He costs 180 points and is proficient in spellcasting. He comes with Fireball 6, Banechant 2, and the ability Fuel for the Fire, which is gaining elite when within 6 inches of a flame-bound unit. he has 2 additional abilities. Elemental Spark allows him to increase the number of dices rolled for non-arcane spells by 1 for each elemental trait unit within 6 inches of him. Conflagration of Pain gives his Fireball piercing 1. We move on to the Warlords of the Salamanders. First up is the Clan Lord, an infantry hero at 155 points, which can take a mount for 25 points. He can do some damage, but the main use is for the inspiring, rallying, and the ability to change regiments and horde of ceremonial guards to core. Then we have the same Lord, but on a Fire Drake, turning him into a Titan hero at 300 points. He can now fly 10, dish out 15 attacks, and changes Rhinosaur Cavalry into Specialists. Note that the podcast didn't mention his special abilities, so I assume the same, though I think Nimble would be removed. There are 4 more Warlords, and they are all unique named characters. First up is Firebrand, infantry hero at 185 points. He is your Corsair leader that turns your Corsair regiments into core, and has an aura that gives elite to them. I foresee a lot of list revolving the Corsair in the new edition, which honestly is a cool theme. The other character is the Flamespitter, costing 180 points. This guy is the fire elemental leader that changes regiments of fire elementals into core. So now we have 2 possible core themes for the Salamanders, which the pirate-like Corsairs or the flaming fire elementals. Finally, the last 2 Warlords, which are both fighty. Rakawas, the Pale Rider, is a Titan hero that cost 305 points. He dishes out 12 attacks at melee 3, crushing strength 2, and got a vicious aura. He is also very inspiring and deals piercing 1 shooting at 12 inches. The last Warlord is Yeleta. I think that's how it's spelled. Infantry hero at 170 points gives Iron Resolve, but here's the fighty part. Though he only has 5 attacks and he deals Blast 2, potentially dealing a total of 10 damage with his melee 3 and crushing strength 2. For missing units when compared to the 3rd edition, I could only find 1, which is the Fire Drake. There is still the model Clan Lord on the Fire Drake, so technically no units dropped for the Salamanders. Thank you for making through the entire video. If you have any thoughts, feedback, feelings about the new army, edition, or even about this video, do let me know in the comment section. I generally would not be active on YouTube, so it's better to leave a comment on the Facebook post in Kings of War Fantatics group. I am also interested to know whether you would like to see of more such videos, as I tend to only make reels or shorts on my well-painted army. See you on the next one.